I'm Serena, and Fensterfarm Greenhouse challenged me to answer the garden questions tag. There's 5 questions, and I'll quickly go through them with you guys. It's a miserable day out. It's raining right now, and this morning when I woke up it was actually snowing, which is very disappointing for where we are because the snow's been melted. Luckily nothing's sticking, but you know, hanging out in the greenhouse, chatting with you guys is definitely a more enjoyable way to spend the day than trying to get anything done in the garden when the snow proved to me it's too early. The first question is, why do I garden? And I'd like to flip this one on its head and say, why doesn't everyone garden? I mean, you know, you get delicious food. It's really quite simple once you get over kind of that beginning learning curve, and it's, you know, it's really rewarding and really satisfying. It's one of those things that I can't say why I decided to start gardening, and I can't understand why anyone wouldn't want to garden other than the fact that they just haven't been exposed and had the opportunity to do it. I feel like gardening is one of those things that once someone tries it for the first time, it's gonna be a lifelong skill, a lifelong hobby. It's not something anyone does once and then completely gives up on. But I mean, if I'm wrong, definitely let me know below. Question number 2 is, why do I YouTube? And we have a couple videos where we gave long form answers to that, so I'll put the links up there. One of the main reasons why we YouTube is because of what I was saying before of, I think one of the reasons why people don't garden is they just haven't been exposed to it, and Ian and I really hope that we might be able to expose a few people to gardening that have never considered it before, and, you know, also show people ways that, you know, gardening can work. One of the things that we really focus on here is that gardening doesn't have to take a long time. You don't have to be out in the garden all day, every day. And even though we obviously are using our entire yard, our other point too is that you don't need to have a farm to garden. You know, the amount that we can grow in our urban lot, we feel might inspire someone to, you know, dig up a little area of their backyard, because, you know, can't eat the grass. Get rid of that grass. Eat a vegetable garden instead, right? Question number 3 is, how long have you been gardening? I had my first garden 15 years ago. It was when I first moved to university, and I went and I got a community garden plot because I wanted to, you know, grow food. I wanted to do something. And I had that garden for 2 years before it just got to the point that it was too much for me to keep up with. But I'm so glad that I decided to get that first garden, because that first garden showed me just the crazy amount of food that you could get out of a space. It was 1,000 square feet, which at the time was like, oh yeah, like whatever. But you know, that was a really big garden to have, and also part of the reason why I did eventually have to get rid of it. I don't really have too many pictures from that time, but I definitely have a lot of really good memories about everything that I learned and, you know, just time spent in the garden. Question number 4 is, what is your favorite thing to grow? And that's a simple one. I don't even need to think about it. Tomatoes. Tomatoes are Ian and I's favorite thing to grow by far, because fresh garden-grown tomatoes is one of our favorite things to eat. We will gladly eat just tomatoes pretty much all summer, like the kids too. It's just fresh tomatoes, breakfast, lunch, dinner. We don't grow a lot of lettuce because we eat tomato salads. We just chop up tomatoes and put some balsamic vinegar on top of them, and we're like, that's a salad, it's finished. And we're so spoiled with how much we like tomatoes that we prioritize growing our entire annual consumption of tomatoes in our yard. We have about 50 plants or more every year, and we make sure to either freeze or can at least 100 things, like liters or so, of tomatoes, so that we can still have our garden tomatoes throughout the winter when we don't have fresh tomatoes too. So yeah, we're definitely spoiled from how much we love tomatoes, and also being in Kelowna here, just how satisfying of a crop it is to grow. We get nice hot summers, so we don't have to deal with a lot of those like nightmare tomato diseases, and they just grow really nicely for us. Question number 5 is, what do you grow? And this question is a little bit impossible to sit here and answer to you guys because we grow a lot. we have our entire yard filled with food. So instead of, listing off, every single vegetable A to Z, I'll give you a quick tour and let you know kind of the different categories of things that we grow in the yard. So come on with me, I'll show you what we got. What I would consider the main growing area in the garden is our backyard vegetable garden and greenhouse. In this space we grow a huge variety of different vegetable plants, and we've been working on doing some crop rotations so that we actually get multiple plantings into here that really increases our production. This year we're hoping to almost triple what we normally do, and we're really excited to get some solid numbers behind what comes out of our garden, because we're going to be weighing everything, so we will have some real numbers to share with everyone. One of the other main things we grow at our house is fruit on both trees and bushes and vines, and we have a pretty good variety of things. We're hoping to add in additional fruit trees this year, but as the berries increase their production on the shrubs, we're really amazed at how much fruit is starting to come out of our small urban lot. The final area where we grow is our front yard, and things aren't looking too exciting right now because it's still just too early for anything to be started, but we have a nice herb garden here, which we've placed specifically so that we can quickly run outside along our driveway to pick herbs for cooking. And then we also have a mix of both perennial fruits and perennial vegetables in the front here. Our goal in this front yard is to eventually establish it into a food forest type system. And we've been slowly working towards building the plants that we will like to use, but this is for us, this is a long-term project that still has a lot of work and it's going to undertake a lot of changes because we need to get rid of this tree. So until then, it is what it is. Tags like this are fun because this time of year, not too much is going on yet, so it's fun to have an excuse to talk about the garden and, especially to think about what the garden is when it's at the height of abundance and production, and to know that that's what there is to look forward to in the coming months. So a big thank you out to Fensterfarm Greenhouse for tagging me to have this little chat with you all. If any of you have answered this question or would like to, please let me know down below. I'd love to see what you guys have to say, why you guys grow and what you're growing. So let me know. And if this is your first time here, make sure to subscribe so you can see all of the projects that we have going and just how crazy it's going to get here over the summer. Because I know it doesn't look like much now, but trust me, there's going to be a lot of food coming out this year.